A very good morning, not good morning, it's good evening to all the participants. As I promised in section A that today also I will upload a video of poem. So here I am with the further slides. So as you remember that during the first video we were discussing about the characteristics of services. So 7 characteristics have been discussed in the previous video up to the quality measurement. One was left, that is the 8th characteristic, and it is fluctuating nature of demand. As we know that during the season of marriages, all the banquet halls are very busy, and during like summer seasons, hotels and resorts all are full of customers. So this is the 8th characteristic of services, fluctuating nature of demand. Here I have given example of the mobility of the passenger is found increased, especially during the marriage season or during an important festival. Come to the next slide. Okay, this is about the factors affecting service operations. Today itself, though we have discussed these factors in the classroom. So first one is customer contact. It is about that, for example, receptionist, waiter, driver, room service, sweeper, etc. They used to come into the contact with the customers. So therefore, we need to take care about these factors. Next is service mix. To understand the service market mix, we have 7 P's of marketing mix, that is product, price, promotion, place, people, process, physical evidence. So here let's try to understand these 7 P's with an example of software company which used to sell software, online softwares. So here product would be software, price can be monthly subscription or yearly subscription of lifetime or lifetime subscription fees. Then promotion they can do on social media advertisement or webinar, through webinars also they can promote their product. And the place obviously would be online. People those use their software would be directors, staffs, employees. Then 6th P is your process, how to deliver services to the customers. And 7th one is physical evidence. So these 7 P's of marketing mix should be periodically evaluated and re-evaluated for achieving maximum profit in the marketplace. So these are the 2 factors we have discussed till now. Let's come to the third factor affecting service operations, is location of service consumption. So will the customer come to the service facility, single or multiple site, for example 4-wheeler servicing, or will the service come to the customer, for example water purifier or AC maintenance. So when whatever kind of services we are providing, so we should take care of this factor also, that where we are going to provide our services. We have to go to the home, or the customer would come to our service station. Then 4th factor is design of service facility and accessories. So obviously design and colors and furnishing, many things are there. So here I have taken 2 points. What should the layout, furnishing, color, etc. of the facility be? Ambience of hotel or school locality. Second point is what design discussions need to be made in respect of staff, uniforms, vehicles, color, logo, and non-personal communication, letter headings, sign, brochure, etc. So whatever things are included in your in your business of servicing or production, so here sorry, here we are talking about services only. So whatever kind of servicing you are providing, so little things have very importance. So that's why design of service facility and accessory is the fourth factor which affect your service operations. Then comes technology. Nowadays technology is playing very important role in services, like what will be the balance between technology and people. For example, how will it apply to the employees work and the customers usage of service. For example, CCTV cameras, car swapping locking systems. If you have car swapping locking system in your hotel, then one engineer you must have to hire, because anytime any card can stop working, so in that situation an engineer should be there. So you have to make arrangements accordingly. uh, Sensor based entrance doors, etc. This is the first point under the technology. Second point I have taken here, will the technology be used in hard services? That is non-negotiable. For example, heating, cooling, ventilation, fire safety systems, water supply, lighting, building maintenance, etc. So here hard services means those service the things which we have in our services to attract our customers, and once we establish those things, they remains for a long time as it is. Okay, and they are non negotiable also. So we cannot uh, have a bad kind of heating facilities or cooling facilities or ventilation, fire safety system, because these all things are to be installed for a long period of time. So we need to take care about that, and that's why they are called as hard services. Then, or soft services. What are soft services? The daily works, those improves the security and well-being of the employees. For example, cleaning, building security, waste management, catering, interior decor, etc. So in daily use, we used to do cleaning. Building security also can be managed or can be changed accordingly. Like if we think that the CCTV camera should be kept somewhere else, we can do that without any much hard work. So these kind of things are called soft services. Those can be changed as per our convenience. So this is all about the soft services. So in technology we have 2 points. Then comes sixth factor, that is employees. How many will be required? What will be the ratio between back office employees and front office employees? How many supervisors will be required to control frontline employees? What skills will be needed and acquired? How flexible will employees need to be? So these all aspects we have to take care of when we are providing any kind of services as factor of employees. Then comes organization structure. How many layers in the organization are desirable? How should the finance, operations, personnel and marketing functions be organized? Okay, then comes eighth factor, that is information. Obviously, to run a business, we need information about our customers, information about the needs of customers, um, information about the future needs, information about the competitors in the market. So many things we should have information about so many things. So here I have taken 3 points under this. What information is desirable for running the organization? So as I told you, competitors in the market, what they are doing, that information is also important. How will it be stored? How accessible will it be, and who will have access? So these things to be considered under the factor information when you are providing services. And ninth one is demand and supply management. How much knowledge is there about demand patterns and levels? Like Accenture provides business strategy, technology strategy, and operations strategy services, because they have information about the market. They have informations about the various companies, various organizations in the market, and they accordingly they plan and advise very renowned companies or very renowned organizations that how to they can increase their business, how to they can use new technology in their business, and how to they can operate in well manner, how to they can provide better product to the customers or better services to the customers. So Accenture, I have taken as an example here, that because they have all the information about the market. Then second point, what strategies are known for influencing demand, like ads for films promotions. Okay, so these are the strategies we use to make marketing of our products or services. The third point we have taken, how flexible is capacity for meeting demand fluctuations, for example work schedules, subcontracting, reservation systems, stock control, etc. Here we can have an example of Book My Show app. Okay, so Book My Show app, what they do, they have data of all the windows they provide, like booking of cinema halls, they provide ticketing of cricket matches, they provide tickets of airlines, they provide the tickets for railways, they provide the tickets, they provide the bookings for hotel rooms. So how is it possible for them? Because they have information about all those things, then only they can provide these services. Next is your procedures. Will the service be mainly standardized or customized? For example, MACD and app developer. So what are the standardized services? Means if you go to MACD, they have 5 to 6 meals. They have standardized their meals. Out of those 6 you can order any of the meal. And customized means where you can order by your choice, like in restaurants you go and you can order paratha and raita, whatever you want. So that are called customized services. Here app developer also do the same thing, their services are customized, because you whatever kind of app you need to develop, you ask them to develop according to you, what are your needs in the app. So that is again customized services. Second point I have taken here, how complex will the service be? So life insurance policies I have taken example, and app developers also their services are also very complex in nature. Then comes control. Control is a factor, those affect your service operations. Because we have few mathematical techniques, statistical tools we have, by using which you can have control on your service operations, like using critical path analysis you can predict that how much time there would be to provide a particular service. Forecasting methods can tell you that how much demand is going to be about your services in future. Flow charts is related to critical path analysis, and queuing theory application helps you to know about the waiting time of a customer, and how much customers would be there in waiting. Okay, so what would be the size of your service station. So all these things are calculated under the queuing theory application. So this is all about the factors affecting service operations. Let's move to the next slide. Now we have cervical model, and cervical model is an empirical model by Zethmal, Parasurman and Berry. They are the 3 researchers, those have developed this model to compare service quality performance with customer service quality needs. So here what they do, they try to find that how much customers are satisfied by a particular services, whatever services you are providing to the customers. So it is used to find a gap analysis of an organization's service quality performance against the service quality needs of its customers. So service quality is measured on the basis of 5 dimensions, like first dimension is tangible. So what they do, they have prepared a questionnaire, and in that questionnaire more than 20 or around 20 questions are there. Few of them for tangible, uh, to to uh, to check the to check the response of uh, of customer in sense of tangibles, like how they like your services, facilities, how they like your equipments, how they like your staff appearance, etc. Okay, so this dimension is called as the tangibles, and you know the tangible means which you can touch. Then reliability again is a combination of 4 to 5 questions. So they ask 4 to 5 questions which reflect the reliability of that customer, and in one sentence we can say that here we check the ability to perform services dependably and accurately, means to say that according to the customer needs. Then only we can develop reliability in the customer's mind for your services. Then responsiveness, assurance, empathy. Now these 5 dimensions are to be checked by using a questionnaire which comprises of around 20 questions. So this is about the cervical model. Let's have more discussion about this model. So here I have given you a diagram. Here you can see that there are 5 gaps. Gap 1, it is between expected services and management perceptions of the consumer expectations. So here I have given an example to understand this gap 1. Manager in a restaurant may have guided the waiter to be somewhere near around the table of the customer after the food have been served, but customer may not like the waiter to be standing aside and staring on him or her having the meal. So here obviously gap 1 occurs because management perceptions of the consumer expectations are not matching the expected services. So this is gap 1. Then gap 2, this is gap 2 here. And what is gap 2 is all about? This is the translation of perceptions into service quality specifications and management perceptions of the consumer expectations. So let us again try to understand gap 2. What is this? This gap exists between the perception of the service provider and the translation of these perceptions into the creation of the specification of the service. For example, manager has to evolve the specifications about the exact distance from the customer table and should not stare at the customer. Also be prompt enough to respond to call or gesture of the customer, otherwise it would exemplify gap 2. So what gap 2 is all about? It is about that if manager of the restaurant has not guided the waiter properly that you should be standing around the table about this much of gap, है ना, you should not staring at the person who is having meal. So it means gap 2 occurs, and gap 2 occurs because of not proper communication between waiter and manager. Okay, so this is gap 2. Then gap 3 is what? Service delivery including pre and post contacts. So suppose the waiter the old waiter has been changed by the new one, or the waiter has been busy, may be busy somewhere else, and the another waiter has come to that customer, though that has not been communicated about that those uh, those features, like how much far he should be standing from the customer, and he should not staring off to the customer's meal. So what happens, gap 3 occurs here. So let's read out gap 3. What is gap 3? This is due to the difference between the services specifications and service delivery, including pre and post contacts with the customer. When above said specifications came into the implementation, it was found that new waiters were not following these specifications. Also, during rush hours, waiters had to attend to more than one customer's table, and the distance specifications become difficult to adhere. So gap 3 occurs because of two situations. One, that there is new waiter which has not been communicated about the specifications, or there may be more than one customers at the time. So when rush hours are there, then also these specifications are difficult to be adhered. So this is all about the gap 3. Now let's come to the gap 4. As you can see here, gap 4 is because service delivery including pre and post contacts and external communications to the consumer. Here external communications means through advertisements. They may have seen or watched your advertisement on television or have heard on FM radio. So they may have very high expectations from your services, but when they experienced your services or when you are providing them services, they cannot feel that much of high level of satisfaction as shown in the advertisement. So because of that, gap 4 occurs. As you can read out also, it is between the external communication through advertising etc. to the customers about the attributes of the services and the actual services delivered. So this is about gap 4. And gap 5, this exists between the expectations of the consumers from the service and their perceptions about the service after having experienced it. This is about, not bout. Okay. So gap 5 is that what you expect, what you were expecting and what you have received, and if you are unhappy with the services, you expected good services but services are not good, then gap 5 occurs. So this is all about characteristics of services. So here our unit 1 ends. So wish you all the best. Thank you so much, and always wishes good things for you. Thank you.